Nate, thank you so much for coming on. Anyone who watches my streams on Twitch, Taylor Merca on Twitch, follow me there. Nate is, we've watched most seasons of 60 Days In, and we have kind of a power ranking of as the seasons start, we'll be like, oh, dude, this girl's going to be good. This guy sucks. We had Mark from 60 Days In on, and his experience was a lot different than yours, to say the least. And for those of you who aren't familiar, 60 Days In, you go in for 60 days in prison. Nate, you're the only person who did 120 days in. Is that right?
Yeah, so I'm the only person to do 2 seasons. Yep.
Were you, because basically you did so well that the guard's like, hey, you want to just hang out? And
I mean, to be honest, when they asked, at first just pride kicked in, right? I mean, it was just kind of like one of those things, yeah, let's run it. And then when I realized that they were not kidding, they were being serious, I was like, whoa, oh man, I got to think about this for at least a day.
Yeah. And I mean, they probably keep paying you. That's nice.
Yeah. Yep.
And just to be clear, when he says he did 2 seasons, there wasn't a break in between. He just stayed in jail.
Yeah. So just think of the mind warp that I had to go through when I'm thinking, wow, I got like 5 days left, and then they hit me with this. And it's like, I mean, it's like you're celebrating. Like, you're like, man, that final week, like I'm going home. And then all of a sudden it's boom, it's starting all over again.
Was there a time like 10 days into the second 60 days where you're like, this sucks? Oh yeah, imagine. Kyle knows exactly.
I know that exact feeling.
Except you didn't volunteer and nobody paid you.
Kyle did 60 days in too. I'm not sure if we made that clear for Nate.
No, I didn't know about that, Kyle.
Yeah, but it was real when I did it.
Hey, it was real when I did it too, I promise you. I was just getting paid.
Yeah, but you could leave whenever you wanted.
Was your shoulder the sign to get out? Just go to the... What was
in
your
one
signal?
Season it was.
But for Nate, what was yours?
What's that?
If you needed to get out, if something got hot and you needed to get out, how do you signal?
So I believe it was to put your hands above your head. I mean, like, I think it was like to do that.
Okay.
And then to talk about sports or something like, I forget, man. That was 3 years ago.
That's how far Nate was from ditching. Didn't even know the signs.
Hey, I'll tell you what, if you don't have a plan, you won't use it.
Did I hear about Nate Burrell? Yeah, so Nate Burrell was the 60-day in dude. He was perhaps the best 60-day in competitor ever. He was a Marine. He apparently was like super cool on the show, and everybody liked him. After he spent 60 days in, they said, dude, you want to stay for another 60? And he said, I can do 120. And he did. He did 120 days in. And he's like a legend. And he became part of, Master Matt. And he became this like 60-day, he's the best competitor they ever had. And he's apparently really charismatic and super cool. And we had him on PKA and everybody liked him. And Taylor's watching 60 Days In, or had watched 60 Days In with his chat. So they were all kind of invested in it. And he does a slide whistle as someone's stock goes up and down. And maybe originally they didn't realize how good he'd be because he's like a blonde-haired white dude. But it was just better and better all the time. And then next we heard them, we're all like, oh no, this is super sad. This is a big problem, etc. And it was a day or two later we learned that because he was about to be charged with 5 felony convictions. And one of them, criminal sexual conduct in the first degree. So I don't know exactly what criminal sexual conduct in the first degree means, but I watched Lockdown 23-in-1. What is this channel? I know I came close, but which channel do you guys know this YouTuber? Lockdown 23-in-1. I was right. So he talked about Nate Burrell. I won't have you watch it. I watch a lot of these guys' videos. Like I enjoy his stuff, but he's almost the opposite of Chael Sonnen in that, like, He spends 3 minutes saying things that should have taken 20 seconds and pacing. So anyway, back on Nate. Criminal sexual conduct in the first degree, assault with a dangerous weapon, assault with intent to do great bodily harm less than murder, and then 2 more. I think some people assume that these were a lot of different incidents. I'm on the other side. I assume that this is like one incident that that they have 5 felonies that they're charging him for. The problem is, this guy is an expert in prison. He spent 120 days in there. He knows the deal. On top of that, like, he has friends who went to prison. You know, like, he brought a guy on the show who was his buddy from prison. I think it was jail, not prison, but it doesn't matter. He knows that criminal sexual assault in the first degree is bad. If you're charged with that and you go to prison or jail, like he was about to, they will make you their bitch. Like, he was legit facing rape in prison. He was going to get turned out. Like, this is a near worst case scenario. And it's so public. Everyone knows. And the day that he arrived in jail, like, charisma or not, he was going to have a big problem. So anyway, he killed himself rather than face the charges. On a side note, anytime there's sexual assault charges, I wonder what happened, because there's usually no evidence, and it usually happens without other people, right? You know, it's just 2 people in some space, private, where something bad may or may not happen. I'm always not sure how to tell, like, what's real. We could go back to Trump. He has over 20 sexual assault charges against him. And some people just know that's all fake. That happens when you're Trump. Right? And then Cosby, he had, 39? And everyone knew they were real. I don't know how people have this sixth sense, but I don't have it. I'll say this. In the context of a divorce, I think there's a higher chance that it's fake. In the context of a divorce, I think there's a real chance that someone is saying something because of a custody battle. And I don't know if it's real or fake, but I'm open to the idea that, you know, people get nasty in custody battles. So yeah. Legitimizing the dude killing himself? I didn't mean to do that. Let's hear the rapist out. Okay. All I'm hearing is that his OnlyFans wife is single. Does he have an OnlyFans wife? I didn't know that. They believe what they want. Okay. He's a piece of human garbage. Let his name die. Now, I don't know, man. Like, I'm not so convinced. He got accused of doing something horrible in the midst of a custody battle. I feel like that's super common. What's his wife's name? I mean, not that I'm going to sub to her OnlyFans, but I mean, like, what's his wife's URL? Just feel like it's something I should know. You know, like, there's as a this might come up as a PKA topic, and no, she wasn't on the show. He had a friend, a black guy with, I think, big black hair. You feel bad for the kid. Oh God. I feel so, like, I mentioned custody battle, but somehow I didn't think about the impact on the kid. Yeah. There's so many URLs out there. Which one do I avoid? Redo, I like your joke, man. I like your joke. Anyway, yeah, so now I've talked about Nate Burrell. You know, we haven't talked about Nate Burrell at all. Taylor, you must have talked about him on stream. I'm sure you get it all the time.
So basically, Nate Burrell was a guy from 60 Days In who was...
Did we talk about him? Am I wrong?
I don't think we talked
We
about him.
didn't talk about his death. We talked about him, obviously, on the show when he was a guest.
Yeah, when he was a guest, we talked about him because he was here. But now he is dead because he killed himself. And apparently the story is that they were about to charge him with like 4 different kinds of assault, and then a type of sexual assault, and he killed himself and left a brutal suicide note, like calling people out for like, you're the reason this is happening, like that.
What happened is this: he was in the midst of a divorce, and I guess during the divorce, his wife was like, "You don't know who you're messing with," and that's included in the suicide note. He's like, "You are right. Even like I think I would beat these charges, but I didn't know who I'm messing with." And this is just, he killed himself. So he had, I think Taylor has it right. There's like 5 felonies in total. One of them being, I think, sexual assault in the first degree, something close to that. And if you're a sexual assaulter, jail's rough for you, right? They're not lenient on sexual assault charges. The other prisoners, this is. So I think he's obviously an expert on this. He spent 120 days in and decided it wasn't worth it. I don't know what to make. Like, you're like, oh, sexual assault, good riddance, right? Like, you might have that mindset. I also think in the context of a divorce, lots of crazy things get said and charged, and I don't know what to believe, because I think his wife...
It's not like he was playing games with a 15-year-old or something.
I don't know anything. All I know is the name of the charge. Oh, I follow you doing the thing on the YouTuber. But yeah. So all I know is the name of the charge. I think it's sexual assault in the first degree. And I'm like, I don't know. Just in the context of a divorce, I've seen false pedophile charges and stuff like that. I told the story of PKA Dan. It wasn't a sex thing, but she tried to remove his custody of the children, saying that he didn't treat his girls right. And then they go into court, and the judge is like, all right, what's this all about? And it turns out the girls wanted white bread on their sandwiches, but he was giving them rye bread because he thought it was better for them.
Bastard.
The judge is like, we have drug addicts in here, and I don't take their kids away. You want me to take his girls away, his daughters from him for rye bread? Rye bread? Okay. That's not happening. Let's talk about your income. And at the end of the story, his child support went down because she was making a lot more than she claimed to make. Yeah.
I wish it was one of those like YouTube judges that likes to like do some silly shit. He's like, you know what? You have to eat 5 pounds of rye bread right now, or we're taking them away from you.
Yeah,
bring in the rye bread.
She had started a side business.
They do that thing like a Christmas Story, like where they're trying to disprove Santa Claus, and they bring in all the Santa letters, but it's rye bread.
She had started a side business that had grown and grown over like the last 18 months or something. And don't get too stuck on these numbers, but her income went from like 40K to over 100K. And when that happens, dude's child support goes down. So
good.
But yeah, anyway, the point behind all that was in the context of divorce stuff, crazy things get said. And I don't know if Nate's a sexual assaulter or a victim of
what was his sexual
charges.
Assault charge? Who was it? Why did what? Like, this is the first I've heard anything about this.
Yeah, literally all we know is the name of the charge. Taylor, do you have it in front of you?
Yeah, he was.
It wasn't his wife, like what you were.
I think his wife leveled the charges, but I just gathered that from the suicide note.
Yikes.
That she accused him of. I think I'll look it up real quick.
New York Daily News says rape, charged with rape, and I assume by his wife, right? Yeah, I think so.
New York Daily News says that I had seen it called something else because I don't think rape is an actual charge.
By the way, I can't believe how much Woody comes up if you search this guy up. By the way, I'm searching this guy up and I'm getting Woody in every single.
Are you serious?
Yeah. The third hit is Woody talking about Nate Burrell suicide on stream.
Oh.
Then the fourth one down is R.I.P. Nate PKA Reddit. The sixth one, PKA Nate Burrell of 60 Days took his life. Your subreddit's killing this. Your subreddit has cornered the market of Nate Burrell suicide.
It does say rape on this one too, but I think sexual assault in the first degree might be the official name of it, which I guess I didn't know.
Nate like to have a good time. Who can blame? That's all we know for sure. All right. Now, maybe some people would say that his girlfriends didn't always have the best time. All right, but he always left him. Well, no, he didn't leave him wanting more.
The name
Did
of
you
the
guys
charge is criminal sexual conduct in the first degree. That's what I've been hunting for.
What does that mean?
I guess rape, because this article also calls it rape. Criminal sexual conduct in the first degree.
The man knew what he wanted.
Mm-hmm.
Did you guys watch his show, The 60 Days In? Did you watch?
Oh yeah, we had him as a guest. That's why.
Oh shit! Okay.
Yeah, we had him on here like 3-4 months ago.
Yeah, Harley. And fast forward, he was on 60 Days In. He was like amazing at it. What, Taylor?
No, and
A couple years ago.
yeah.
Wait, what?
I was going to joke about him.
Oh,
yeah.
So he was on 60 Days In, a show where you go in prison for 2 months, obviously. And he was a really, really great contestant. They said, do you want to do it again? So now he's in for 120 Days In. Taylor was watching the show on stream, and this guy was such a 60 Days In legend that we had him on the show. That's his thing.
Mm-hmm.
And he pretty much thrived in prison because he's super charismatic.
Yeah, he did great. Like every time we'd watch an episode, he'd be like, all right, we got Nate on screen. It's going to be good. And there would just be a flood of high T Nate, Alpha Nate. And then
I didn't know about this rape stuff until like just now. I thought that there was a custody issue with his wife, and maybe there was that as well. But because of rape, that's fucked.
The rape could be a custody tactic.
it could be, but like the way, even the way he wrote,
It's like 4 or 5 charges.
yeah, that's
like,
what sticks.
is there even one incident?
I don't know.
I don't know. I feel like we don't have a lot of
The
information.
gist of his note was he like you like who's he blaming?
His wife. He's blaming the wife. He's
So he
divorced.
did it all on his wife.
Well, I suppose you don't want to get Mcaffe, like.
Yeah.
Like,
Did anything come of his dead man switch? Did anything happen?
No.
Oh, that's right. Remember he had one? That was
I haven't
gonna,
looked into it.
He mentioned it on the show.
Yeah, I don't remember.
He mentioned a lot of things on the show.
He did. He was. I mean, I thought he was funny. He was a little overbearing and weird, but he was entertaining to talk to.
I didn't enjoy him.
I thought he was a pretty amazing change of pace. I thought it was an interesting show to hear this, like, multi-100 millionaire dude who lost all his money, is being accused of murder, and this like crazy stories, hiding in the attic, peeing himself from Colombian police or Bolivian police or whatever it was. Like, I thought it was pretty amazing, pretty crazy. I wouldn't want him on every week because he's not totally coherent, but it was cool. A lot of fans didn't agree with me on that. It was like, usually I finish a show and know if it's a good one or not. And I thought that was a pretty good show, and a lot of fans didn't think so.
Yeah, I didn't care for him either. He challenged me to a duel at one point. It was just bizarre.
There was a point where he made
What
fun
a
of
Jew.
us for not doing hard.
Well, he
enough
challenged me,
drugs.
so I get to pick.
Do you remember
Okay,
when he
cool.
was like making up drugs? He'd be like, "I've done drugs that you guys, you need an atomic scale, the slightest grain too much, and you're insane forever. The 1 grain too little, and you're as sober as a bird."
I was
and it's
buying
like,
it.
Did you take 1 grain too many? Like, fucking.
I didn't even think that it was fake, but now I do, now that you say it. But I remember he's like, "What, you guys have never done heroin?" And Taylor goes, "We're all a bunch of squares."
every time I've ever seen him like do anything, I'm just like watching him and I'm just like, why do people care what this dude's saying? Like, it's just the incoherent ramblings of a madman. And like, literally, this dude is just like gotten rich and then just gone off the deep end.
It's the same reason that like Alex Jones can be funny and entertaining.
Yeah.
He's like the tangents, the like you don't know what they're going to say or where they're going to jump next.
But it's
Because
not like
there's no
funny in a way
connection.
like, oh yeah, I'd love to have like a really in-depth conversation with you. You're so interesting. It's more like, man, I love laughing at you. You're such a fool.
That's
Like-
true. Like if you talk to Alex Jones, you'd be like, wait, tell me about, I don't know,
Yeah.
the moon. Let's get him as a guest. Actually, we need to be careful who we get as a guest because we've had a lot of deaths.
We've had a lot of deaths. Unfortunately, we just had a new one just the other day. John Mcaffe.
Oh yeah, that's right. Crazy.
Yeah, and it's interesting because he had said that if he's like, I'm happy in prison, the food is good, the people are nice. If anything happens to me, they killed me. And then he dies, like he hangs himself like a couple days later.
That's so wild. That's What
Who
would
comes
he
on-
know? Like what? I know he's a big tech guy and he was like uber wealthy. Like, was
You know
he-
what I think it was?
What?
I think John McAfee really loves attention. Like I think he's a
No.
very smart attention whore, and he was like, "They've got me. I'm not dying in prison." Maybe even he was sick. Maybe he had cancer or something.
He was
You would
really
think
old.
he was very
Yeah, he
old.
was.
He didn't look healthy. Like maybe he was just like, "I'm going to kill myself, but they're going to talk about me for a long time."
How
Honestly,
funny would it be though if it was John McAfee who actually had like a dead man switch and a bunch of shit? It wouldn't get covered if he even had any damaging stuff, but that would be funny that of all people, it's the absolute maniac who said that we were dumb for not doing, or we were pussies for not having tried heroin before.
Yeah,
Is that
I mean,
what
look,
he said? Yeah.
I would try it. I just don't know where to get it, John.
Helen released the. Oh,
He was
Yeah, I
76,
don't
I
know.
think.
76 in prison, like maybe he killed himself. But my guess is he killed himself. The fact that he had like been so adamant that like if I die, they did it. Like I think I think he really loves the attention. I think it's
Dude,
what I
18
would
months
do
was
if
a
I
death
really wanted
sentence
some
for that
attention.
dude.
Maybe
no,
maybe it's.
rich people live a ton of time now.
I mean,
He's a drug addict.
That's true.
I don't know that he's a drug addict, but I feel like he definitely
Do you need to watch
enjoys
the
his
show
drugs.
again?
Yeah, drug user and drug addict are different things, though, right? I think he's definitely enjoyed his drugs, but I mean, he was doing such weird stuff, though, right? It wasn't like he's like, yeah, I shoot up some heroin every day. I have to. It was just like, yeah, I like to put little droplets of heroin in my eardrum. I can hear the world's
And he
heartbeat.
was clearly bloviating a lot of that because he was pretending
Yeah.
like, hey, Sasha, or whoever the woman was, like, pour the other half of that bottle of gin into this glass and bring it to me. And it's like, dude, you did not just at 76 drink a whole bottle of gin in 30. Like, there's no way. Come on. Like,
He was
that's
talking
not
about weird
possible.
drugs we had never heard of, that you needed like an atomic scale to get the right amount or you die. Do you remember that?
Yeah, and that's like the kind of thing I don't want to fuck with.
It's the
It's
kind of
things
thing I
like
do
that,
want to
money.
fuck with.
It makes me think money just doesn't solve everything, it's things like that. It's like that's like really it, because you could like be like, I gotta get this drug that's on the atomic level of something. And it's like, man, you could just buy a PS5 from a scalper, even, like you could just, but like that's not it. There's obviously more there. There's more. There's things that money just doesn't sort out. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Talk about the McAfee suicide note. Hotload suggested it, and I'm
I have
finding it
not seen
interesting.
this.
All right, so Hotload, can you scroll down and show this to people? The picture of the suicide note. It hasn't been officially transcribed, and I find it really difficult to read, but I will do my best. I'm waiting for him to show it.
Yeah, I haven't heard about a suicide note at all from him.
So they found this suicide note in his pocket, and his wife says it's not real. But yeah, this is the note. You can see why it's so hard to read. It seems to say something close to, I am a phantom parasite. In the present moment, I used it to attain my own ends instead of fully living it. I want to control my future, which does not exist. Throughout knowledge, which mere ashes of memory. I've read it a couple times. That's the best I can do.
Yeah, that's about as what I was guessing. So was she saying like that's not his handwriting?
She says it looks like someone who was trying to imitate his handwriting, and that her last conversation with him included, I'll call you tonight. And she thinks that this suicide note is part of the cover up, even though it does resemble his handwriting. If I'm following that right.
Just so you guys know,
Bizarre
my suicide
message.
note, you'll be able to tell the writing will be very feminine, lots of curses, and I'll put the same clue at the end that Houdini left for his wife when he died.
So we have at least 2 guests who've killed themselves so far.
At least 2. I was thinking about that
Allegedly
today.
with John McAfee. We don't
I was thinking about that
know.
today.
There's
Like,
no way to know. At 2 that are dead.
Yeah. I was thinking about that today when because I spoke to that guy who like owned the whole chain of motorcycle stores, and at one point he was like, so what on some kind of a show you said something about this, and in my head, I was like, yeah, we do this. If he'd asked me what it was about, I was like, we have guests on, like, John Mcaffe before he killed himself, and Nate from 60 Days In before he killed himself, and Boogie before he like had that aggravated assault charge with a handgun, and like go down the line of like all of our guests and the awful things they've done after the show, and Chris Hansen before he got into all that legal trouble.
Yeah, he's on my watch list. We'll see.
He's not just.
Oh, who died of cancer that was on the show? Oh shit! Total Biscuit. I felt disrespectful almost saying it like that, but he's dead.
That's 3.
I have this thing with like guests that we've had where like I don't remember them after after like the episode is over. Like,
after 11 p.m.
I don't know who Total Biscuit is.
Total Biscuit was a YouTuber. He did game reviews. He was really popular, and I remember the day he came on the show. This was cool to me. He was like, to say tail between his legs puts it into a negative a light, but the internet hated him that day. I forget. He said something that they didn't like, and it was like, hey guys, like we were going to hate him too. And it's like, oh no, that's not our concern. Welcome to the show. We like you just fine. And I thought it was a good show. But yeah, he was in some sort of internet hot water the night he came on, and we didn't care. But yeah, I think he had brain cancer. I'm not positive about it being brain cancer, but I think so. And
is that a bad one to have?
Oh yeah,
yeah, not one of the good ones.
Liver cancer.
It was liver.
You don't hear. I just went to his wiki.
Stomach cancer.
You never hear about
cancer.
liver cancer very much, or maybe I'm just wrong.
Stomach cancer is the worst to have, in my opinion. Like if I had to pick a cancer, stomach cancer would be on the bottom of the list.
Pancreatic.
I knew a guy who had stomach cancer. He was he came into the dealership once and he was buying a car, and he had to take occasional breaks to deal with the pain.
Jesus.
That sound. I don't want anything that messes with my bowels. Stomach might, but like, I don't know. If I have to get a colostomy bag as part of the process, like that has a big impact on my happiness.
You just strap it to the back of the bike. You'd be good. Oh no, just let it. Just leave the hose like flapping in the wind.
On
Like
my trip,
nobody
on my
tailgates
big trip, I was following an RV, and I'm like, I'm getting wet. I'm getting what liquid is coming out of a fucking RV down the highway? You asshole! You asshole! You are draining your RV. And it was probably the gray water. If people don't know anything about RVs, they have gray water and what they call dark water or black water. The black water is the poop. The gray water might be like your dishwater or something, like from the sink, from the bottom of your shower. But whatever. I'm on a motorcycle and he's dumping some sort of old stuff.
Yeah, you don't want that. That's super gross.
Yeah, it was pretty gross. I choose to believe it was his dishwater.
Yeah, let's hope so. Or maybe condensation from an air conditioning unit. Let's just pretend it's that.
Yeah, we're gonna dream. We're gonna dream that his air conditioner had so much condensation that it got me wet following him at 80 miles an hour.
That's so gross. Yeah, I don't
want to anyway, we were on guests. So I'm trying to think of who's the list of people that have died. There's Total Biscuit.
Nate from 60 Days In.
Nate from 60 Days In. Obviously, John Mcaffe, who we just talked about.
Was there anyone else who died? Hopefully not.
There's a couple that aren't long for this world.
Yeah.
I know who you're thinking of. I don't want to say it out loud.
Who are you thinking of?
Who are you thinking of, Kyle?
You know.
Dude,
there's a couple that are coming up.
People that live unhealthy lifestyles, you know. Sure. Him and another one too. Yeah.
Oh, that's not the one you're thinking of? We don't have the same one?
Did you guys see the Blade video?
Oh God, it's gotta be him you're thinking of, right?
I thought he was. Yeah,
you weren't even thinking of Blade. All right. Yeah, I didn't see the Blade video. How's he doing now? I assume he's turned it around. He was sober when he was on the show.
Yeah, no.
We talked about the video last week, remember? Like the one where he's dropping the ends and telling his chick to go get him some Kit Kats because they're scromdiddly-umptious.
Well, there was another.
Play your greatest hits. Tell me about the frogs.
About the frogs. Tell me about the moon. Tell
me about the reptile vampires.
Tell me about Sandy Hook. Now I gotta admit, I'm kind of retarded. That was the funniest little clip from him. No, I'm kind of retarded. Like, and it's like on the record.
I gotta admit, Joe.
Oh, that was I don't listen to full Joe Rogans often, but when he was on, like, Joe has such a bizarre chemistry with him because they've been friends for so long that it feels like the Alex Jones, like, bah, 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 just trample over people. Joe can just be like, Alex, settle down. What are you doing? What are you doing? I'm sorry, Joe. You know me. We've known each other for a long time. I get excited and you hype me up. You know, that's all you do. And you can see, like, oh, go ahead.
On this, it's funny. I'm about to say this as I cut you off, but on the second one, Joe came in like on a mission to sort of be like, all right, you made an outlandish claim. Let's dive into that. Let's hear the thought process behind it. The first one was instructional for me because I was getting a lot of fussing at the time about interrupting. And then I heard Joe Rogan, Eddie Bravo, and Alex Jones on the same podcast together. None of them let each other talk. None of them ever listened. All of it, like they would just all yelling over each other. And I hated it. I hated that episode. And I'm like, oh, like this is illustrating the importance of letting someone finish their thought.
Yeah, it gets jumbled quickly.
Yeah, but like I get invested in what this guy is saying, right? If this guy is saying, you know, whatever, Democrat, pedophile, reptile, vampires are running the White House, I'm like, ooh, tell me more about that. Tell me why you think that. But then before he either gets debunked or backed up, we're onto a new topic. I'm like, well, you fucking ruined it. I really wanted to hear where that came from. And now you're talking about legal pot or something. It doesn't matter.
We saw a clip of him the other day, and he was like, Marco Rubio was somewhere like speaking to a group of people on a microphone, you know, like it's some sort of an event. He's wearing a suit and tie, which is the only way I've ever seen Marco Rubio. And there's Alex Jones. He's there. And he's not with the crowd. No. He's like, he like sidles up to Marco. Like he's next to him. Like, and he's a big imposing guy, especially next to Marco Rubio. And he's just like trashing him. Just like, he's like, you know who I am. InfoWars. You know InfoWars. He's like, I do not know who you are. You know who I am. You know who I am. Tell the people the truth. And just like berating him. And he's just like, Marco's like, don't touch me again. Oh, tough guy. You gonna beat me up? I didn't say that. Oh, big guy's gonna beat me up. Little Marco's gonna kick my ass in front of all of you. Let's go, Marco. Come on. And he's just like tearing him apart and embarrassing him. And Marco's finally like walking away. He's like, yeah, enjoy your bathhouse. Have a good day. Head off to the bathhouse. Like making gay jokes. It's just like it did not go well for Marco. It's so hard to like be in that position. Like it's one thing if he's at like a bar or a restaurant looking like a fool in front of like normal people, but like Marco Rubio, there's no way he can like take that without looking like an asshole or like he's lost.
Yeah,
like,
there's no good move for Rubio there.
There's no good move.
You can't engage on Crazy Island with Alex because he's the proprietor. so everything goes in his favor on Insane Isle. But what was like Rubio was trying to like give an answer. They're like something about taxes. I don't know. And like as he's trying to answer in like the politician's proper way, Alex Jones is standing next to him, taller than him, going, "Hey, why don't you tell?" Like, and he's like looking right at him. "Why don't you tell him about your secrets, huh? Tell him about the secrets. Tell him. Are you gonna tell him? You gonna tell him about the censorship of your secrets? No, you're not. You're gonna talk about taxes."
You should have straight up been like, I ate my brother's Easter candy when I was 12 years old. You got
thief then, thief now. These people are all like this.
You can't argue with someone like that though, because they just flit from thought to thought, and then the second you say something back to them, they just like, "But what about?" And you're just like, well, what were we talking about again? And you can't follow that train of thought because they're just a fucking moron. And
because it's a carpet bombing of things, and so it's like the government that they're vampires. First of all, second of all, that's the reason they went to the moon is to get their essence. They call it adrenochrome. That's a goose. That's a red herring. It's actually on the moon, and the reason we faked it was so they could believe we couldn't get there to achieve it. And it's like, wait, but what about the underground thing? Like, can we go back to the beginning?
You're worried about that when you should be worried about something else.
Is that a thing he ever said? The reason they faked the moon landing was so that they didn't think that we could do it?
No, I made that up. I don't know.
I like that one.
Yeah. Oh,
like
by the way,
some of the go ahead.
McAfee was on my podcast, on your podcast.
Yes. He's dead now, right? So
That
he won't
fucker
be
died.
appearing on any
Killed
more
himself.
podcasts. Yeah, we strike while the iron's hot, right? That's why we're going to get Warren Buffett soon.
Poor guy.
Oh, really?
I don't know much about McAfee other than he was a lunatic, but he was an entertaining lunatic.
The best kind.
Yeah,
And I
he's
thought,
pretty
wasn't
cool.
he supposed to have a kill switch with a bunch of stuff on it, and then nothing ever came of that?
Yeah,
Where he
he's
like
right.
bluffed.
he just
Yeah.
made up a bunch of shit, hoping that like if he killed himself, it would his ego would get
yeah.
like juiced up a little bit. You
He
know?
was supposed to have like, I don't know, papers on a boat sailing around the world ready to dock and expose whatever if they that didn't happen.
Yeah, I don't
No.
blame him. I mean, when I'm gonna kill myself, like, of course, a year I'll plan it or whatever. But like
Yeah,
a
of
year
course.
beforehand, I'm gonna start making up lies about having a kill switch and like, oh, if I die, no, it wasn't me. And,
Kill
I'll
switch.
make up, yeah, I'll like have all sorts of shit I'll make up, and then I'll die, and nothing will happen because I'm not smart enough to actually make whatever a kill switch is. But
Yeah,
why not?
that-
Actually, my suicide plan. You want to hear it? It's
I
pretty good.
do.
Okay, so the whole plan is like, you ever seen those the things where like Evil Knievel where he jumps the Grand Canyon?
Yes.
I would set up a whole live TV event where it'd be like, "Look, watch me jump the Grand Canyon." And so you expect me to come out in like a big, like fast car or something, like a jet car. I'd just come out in a riding lawnmower with like a little flag on it. And you would watch me live on TV, just go up the ramp and then teeter off the ramp and fall down into the canyon.
That'd be great. You could do it in yellow face
love it.
in a fat suit like Homer on a skateboard. You could do it like
After I
that.
slam into the ground, I
We're gonna
die and
make it.
everything.
We're gonna make it.
I want the pyrotechnics to go off at the landing spot as if I actually made it. Like, I want to be timed and everything. Balloons lit off into the air, and then everybody's like, "Oh my god, he just died!" Like there was no chance to even make it 4 feet.
And like your wife has to get the news from your attorney. He spent all of your money on the 30,000 doves that were released as he was killed. He caused not only that, you owe money for the ecological damage
Yeah.
of releasing 30,000 doves into that area. Yeah, that's a good way
Yeah.
to do it, man.
For sure. Yeah, I didn't think about the bankrupting of my family, but they're gonna have to pay for that crime scene cleanup at the bottom of the Grand Canyon. I'm sure
The
that'll be cheap.
ultimate prank.
Yeah.
Hey guys, I'm going to prank my family.
I spent all the money on doves and
Dude,
killed
it's
myself.
getting to the point where they fucking deserve it, man. I was like, when you were talking about Kyle being sick nonstop, I was thinking about it. I was like, this guy's only bitching about this being a weird occurrence because he doesn't have kids. Like, I have 2
Yeah.
kids. They're under 3.
They deserve what they get.
They just come home and then they just into my face, and I'm like, it's constant. And like, I
Yeah.
got the blood test or whatever to see if I had antibodies for COVID, and they're like, "Oh my god, you had it. Do you know when you had it? When were you sick?" I was like, it's all I've been. I've just been sick for like a year. Like, it's constant. I was like, do I have HIV? Like, why is my immune system so fucking low that I'm just constantly coughing and shit? I spent Christmas just wrapped around the toilet. I was like, oh, I'm finally feeling better because I'm not coughing. And then I just started puking and shitting everywhere. I'm like, what the fuck? And it's my kids. They get it for like a second, and then they pass it on to me. And my immune system hasn't had a chance to bounce back. I don't have a 3-year-old's immune system. She's frolicking around going like, Dad, why are you puking everywhere?
Well, it's because when
you.
Dad was napping last night, you
You.
spit in my mouth.
Yeah, you got COVID, and you've been coughing all over my face and shit. I had the one time I've had a friend, like a little collaborator, someone else that does YouTube stuff. I flew him out to my house. I set up my basement to have a nice little bedroom for him and everything. And this guy, I was like, God, I hope I don't get him sick. But he's like, don't worry, man. He's shredded. He's got like a 6-pack, fucking super jacked and everything. He's like, I'm perfectly healthy. There's no, even if I get sick, I'll be fine. He was here fucking 18 hours or something. And he all of a sudden was just like, oh my God.
I think we should introduce the guest first.
Oh yeah, I'm glad you said that. We always just kick into the show. Our guest is Total Biscuit, Total Halibut. Can you explain that disconnect for me? Like I never helped me.
Fuck, man, it's that I've been stuck with that for years. Right, so goes back to when I was playing this game called Planet Side back in about 2004. It's MMO FPS, yeah. So pretty old. Like compared to modern stuff, it's terrible now in terms of its mechanics, but we had a little clan there called the Halibuts, and every Thursday night, we'd go on and do stupid shit. So we'd get like 100 guys, and we'd put them all on quad bikes and then just go and attack bases on these things because you could spawn all sorts of different vehicles and shit. So we do that, and everyone had to have the word halibut in their name to join. Anyone like from any server could come and join this thing. But when we moved to WoW, we kept the halibut name. So when I set up my YouTube channel, when I was making WoW videos, it used to be Total Halibut, and now that's not even relevant anymore. But there's no point in changing it now. It's a little bit late. So that's where the disconnect comes from.
I understood. Oh, just so
He's got the Sean thing.
Yeah, the Hutch. Yeah, I know. Everyone who starts a channel and asks me for advice, the first thing I tell them is get your branding sorted out.
Get a goddamn name. Yes. Because you'll be fucked later down the line if you don't.
So
Don't put the letter X in it.
Just so you guys know, I am sick as hell. I don't know if you can hear it in my voice.
No, not at all.
You sound
wonderful.
Yeah, we just thought
Very
some balls
well
finally
apparent.
dropped.
Very subtle.
The air conditioning and the fans in my house are cranked up, and I'm sweating for no reason. I'm a little bit dizzy. My stomach
You kind of sound like someone's tickling you, and you don't want to laugh. You're like, you sound bad.
You kind of sound like Grandpa.
Dude, my upper lip is sweating. What's that all about?
This is what you're gonna sound like in the year 3050 when you finally completely mature.
What ended up happening is Woody didn't slay another immortal this week, and it's kind of catching
He
up
didn't
to
sacrifice a baby goat, so I mean, he's just been.
That's right. I'm losing my strength. I need to kill a virgin, and we're set. So I got literal painkillers and energy drinks, and I'm gonna freaking kill these things and hope the show goes well. Oh, Total Biscuit, you have been regarded as the king of the web. You accept that title?
It's a pretty annoying title to have.
You are the
Everyone asks me
kingmaker.
every 2 weeks. Who the hell should we vote for? I was like, come on, really, guys? I'm sure you can come up with an idea yourself. But no. But if you want to know, you should go vote for Ro. That sounds like a good idea. It's either that or some crazy German. So, vote for the girl or the crazy German.
Have people been fussing at you for King of the Web at all?
Fussing at... They do this every damn time. You have any idea how much drama's involved in that stupid contest?
Yes, I do have an idea. Friends, ex-friends, and haters all make videos about me, pretty much, giving money... I get hate for giving money to charity. And I was like, Total Biscuit's on the show.
Yeah, I got that.
You got that too?
Everyone after me as well. I had people accusing me of ruining the contest because apparently now you can't run anymore unless you run for charity because no one will vote for you. So apparently I ruined the lives of literally 3 upcoming YouTubers or something.
Dude, I was talking to the guys that run King of the Web. They were at VidCon last week, and they're trying to change the perception that it doesn't have to be like a charity run. Like I did a charity run. I had planned it months in advance. And I want to get this story out, so just let me carry on for 60 seconds. Every year I do a charity drive in March. The first 2 years it was for the March of Dimes, and this year I let my subs choose the charity. Because it was the March of Dimes, and by the way, I raised like $8,000, $12,000, and then something else good, I don't know. And of that 8 and 12, one guy donated $5,000. And I didn't want to go backwards. So I used King of the Web to replace the guy that donated. Yeah, because he was a March of Dimes supporter, so he would just give $5,000 through my drive. But because it wasn't March of Dimes, I didn't expect him to donate, and that means that I needed to replace him, and that's what King of the Web was for. I had it planned out 3 months before I ran. That was going to be my thing. And now I get all these haters saying Woody, you just ran for King of the Web to make you big. And
to make you big. Hang on a second.
And King of the Web doesn't make you big. Maybe if you're really small and you do well, then it could possibly give you some visibility. But
you can't do well if you're really small. It's not possible. It's a popularity contest. That's all it is. I mean, I'm pretty sure that over half the users on that site are only there because of me. So
it could be.
Okay, they're going to vote for the guy that I tell them to vote for.
When I ran, I didn't have a bad week or anything, but it was just slightly below average. I didn't get any King of the Web boost. King of the Web, the whole deal is you drive people to them, and then, they put ads on their site, and whoever drives the most, wins a prize. And I gave that prize to charity. But it's not King of the Web drives people to you. That's pretty rare. I talked to them, and I was saying that same thing. I drive people to King of the Web, not vice versa. And they're like, well, Lindsay Stomp grew a whole lot while she ran for King of the Web. Lindsay Stomp is blowing up. She grew before King of the Web and after King of the Web.
She was huge anyway. I mean, if you check the videos, they're 5-6 million views each.
Everything she does goes viral. And
exactly.
So I don't know if I was king of the web, if I would be like, well, we made Lindsay. Like, I don't know.
No,
yeah,
I don't think so. It certainly helped, but
it can't hurt.
I don't think
right.
That...
But
I'm feeling like an asshole. I wouldn't give no money to charity. To the Poor Boy Association.
People make it hard, man. Like I gave all of it to charity. I even like did it. I put it in the check and mailed it on camera. And I don't know. Like,
better not write that off, Woody. They'll castrate you for it.
I feel like, next year when March rolls around, I'm gonna be like, am I gonna do a charity drive again? Like if people are gonna be feeding on me for giving money to charity, why am I bothering?
Ignore them. It's like it really doesn't matter if they're gonna hate on you for giving to charity. So why do you care what they have to say?
Yeah, dude. I gave $11,000 last year, and people still tell me to get a real job.
Yeah. We raised, I think, 20 grand for charity water, and that was including the King of the Web thing. And we're hopefully going to win Battle Royale and then give another 50. But that's not going to stop people calling you out on the internet if you're mean to someone in the fucking comments section, is it?
No. You're a horrible person.
Oh, my God.
Dare you give to charity?
Yeah, would you knock it off if you're giving to charity? You corrupted, evil, dark-hearted man.
Nice try, Charles Carrion.
I don't even know who that is. Who is Charles?
That's going to go over the heads of 95% of people.
No. Okay, so that was the guy that was suing on the behalf of Funny Junk. He was suing, like, the Oatmeal, the American Cancer Society, and the National Wildlife Foundation.
Dude, that thing was epic.
Fucking asshole.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. There is no man at the moment who's a bigger villain on the internet than that guy.
Somebody just
What
sent...
was the line you used?
Oh, carry on.
The line I used, what, for what?
To actually get your wife. I'm always interested in this. Like, what did you use to get her to say yes? How did you set it up?
I did it on a podcast in front of 50,000 people.
Did you really?
Yeah. Turns out it's pretty hard to refuse if you do that.
You had a podcast like 5 years ago with 50,000 people?
Yeah, man.
Nice.
Damn.
That's freaking
You
huge.
stepped your game up early.
I don't think we've done better than 15 or so. Like that, there's, I don't know, just shy of 8 right now.
Well, we can do better than 15, but we're talking about like over the span of a week, we do better than 15.
Oh, well, over the span of a week, we'll, do better than 700,000 sometimes. But the concurrent live, 15 is where we were going with Road to Modern Warfare 3. But week to week, we'll do, 7 or 8. Anyway, I want to. Oh, are we still going on? I missed what happened while I was going. I feel like I came back.
We just talked about the
You left
fingernails
and
and how
everything got silent.
No, we talked about the back scratching, and then I asked John how to get his wife.
Nice. Dude, my wife was... What I did is I waited a while, and she would propose to me on a daily basis. It was like every day. She was like... Yeah, she'd be like, when are you going to marry me? When are you going to marry me? Sometimes 10, 15 times a day, she'd ask me, when are you going to marry me? When are you going to marry me? And
Does that really count as a proposal, though? That's like more of an exploratory question, isn't it?
Dude, and if I had said, does June work for you? At any one of those, the marriage would have been on. Isn't that sort of how proposals go?
I'm sitting there looking at this, and I'm like, my mind just went blank. I'm sorry.
All right, yeah. So, with me, it was a lock. Like, when I asked her to marry me, it was there was no real doubt on what the answer was going to be. I wasn't rolling the dice and hoping for the best. It was settled. And by the way, if there's any girls watching out there, and should be about 3% girl, that is my recommendation to you. Like, I think that if you want a guy to propose to you, you can do things that make it clear that he's not taking a big risk by proposing. Mitigate.
You make sure he knows.
By saying every day, when are you going to marry me?
Can I play devil's advocate here? You might run some boyfriends off that way too.
Oh yeah.
Don't make this like the third date. When are you gonna marry me? Huh? When are you gonna marry me? Does June work for you?
Oh, that was a good dinner. Went to the ring. This cow's for
That
sale.
was a good dinner. We should have that at our wedding.
But yeah, see, Jackie and I were in an odd situation too, because a few weeks in, it was forever. 6 weeks in, we joined bank accounts, and it was forever. But
damn, you rushed it hard.
It was smash mouth wedding, baby, straight up the middle. But so just a couple weeks in, we had sort of decided this is it. We're exclusive.
I got to say,
we're for good.
Woody got really lucky there because it's hard to get a girl to even ask you on a date. Don't wait on girls to ask you to marry them.
Yeah, she asked me out too.
And not be crazy.
Oh yeah, not be crazy. Yeah.
When are you going to marry me? And we're going to have 5 kids. How about tomorrow? That sounds good, right? Oh, okay. All right, back up a little.
So dude, somebody just sent pizza to my house, and for that, like, you know, whatever, like, it doesn't really bother me much. But I feel bad for the pizza delivery guys. If you're gonna send a pizza to my house, pay for it, you jackass. Like, it's not
The only person you're punishing there is the pizza delivery guy.
Absolutely.
Yeah, really.
It's totally like it. I can't explain how lame it is, right? I picture you there struggling with your acne issues at 14 years old, thinking about how clever you are for having Googled my address, and you know, you send a pizza to my house. It's like, dude, you suck so bad. The poor pizza delivery guy is the only person that suffers. It's it. Like, no one else. Like, I don't care. You know, taxis, pizza, whatever. It's not a big deal. I just say, dude, I feel bad for you. You know, I didn't order a pizza. And he looks at me so disappointed. He's like, oh, are you serious? I'm like, yeah, man. Like, I'm internet famous. People think it's funny, but, you know, don't accept orders unless they're paid for. And, you know, he walks away with his head down, knowing that, like, you just robbed him of his time. And
time, tip, gas money,
time,
all
tip,
of the above.
gas, like everything. Like, if you think you're playing a prank on me, you're not. Like, I just sort of,
Now, if you were the pizza delivery guy,
yeah.
maybe.
If you for some
I
reason,
have a solution. Why don't we take up some sort of charity drive to pay for these pizzas to get sent to your house?
Run for king of the web, and then go home a bunch of pizza.
dude, do I still have a
This is all
chip
my
in?
pizza delivery
That's
money.
it. That's it right there.
Didn't you have the SWAT team sent to your house one time?
Yeah, Kyle, you ready for this?
Yep. Always.
I want to hear your opinion on the recent piece of news. There's a guy. He and two friends were doing armed robbery. He's 18 years old. And when he got caught, his two friends kind of like ratted him out and said, you know, he did bad stuff. And like I said, he was robbing people with a gun, which is worse than just like stealing wallets and purse snatching. And one time he fired the gun at a dog that was chasing them, but he didn't hit it, you know. But so it's armed robbery, occasionally pulls the trigger at a dog if need be. And I don't know how many counts of armed robbery he was on, but he was a first-time defendant. So he and his friends would do this, like, I don't know, regularly, we'll call it. And I think you get like a minimum sentencing of like 5 or 7 years for armed robbery. And at 18 years old, because they like ran all the charges against him like back to back to back to back, and he was guilty, then he got something like 160 years in prison. What do you think of this? Like, on one hand, he's an adult.
Here's and this kind of goes to my entire feeling about prison. I think prison's stupid because no matter what crime you do, if you're in the same prison, you're both getting the same punishment just for longer durations of time. I think there should be worse kinds of prison, but there really aren't. There's higher security, but there aren't worse kinds of prison.
Bring the fucking hard labor prisons back.
Oh, hard fucking labor. I heard a professor talking about this the other day on the radio, and he said that he felt that maximum security prison the prisoners should border somewhere between like extreme boredom and restlessness, like and discomfort and mild discomfort. I think he said like, you know, their shower should be like.
I'm surprised they
lukewarm or
don't do
cool.
that.
Yeah, like they don't deserve good food. They deserve like rations. They deserve like
bread and water.
Not even that, like a paste. It's like a nutritional paste or something. I'm serious.
You basically just described
Like-
the Matrix.
Yes, absolutely. That's what. I've said this before. I'm all for like public capital punishment for like lesser offenses. I think there's huge broad sweeps of the population that need to be exterminated. But
Can I say something else about this?
Wait.
Yeah.
This huge broad sweeps of the population that need to be exterminated?
yeah, there's bad people out there.
Yeah, just lop their head off on public television and charge money to see it. State needs money, right?
Well, that's my other idea, and I'm trying to work this out in a foreign country. If anyone knows a foreign government that's kind of shaky, I want to start up sort of a modern-day gladiatorial games, and I want to charge online for viewership, get the merchandise rolling in, and, you know, King Patu or whatever of that small African country is going to make out big time.
Machinima
Call it
Prime,
the Ring
baby.
Squad Killer Invitational.
It's a tentpole series right there.
Yeah. I want them to fight to the death, and I don't want guns or, like, modern weapons. We're going old school. I want the gladiator with like the harpoon, or excuse me, the the trident and the net. I want that guy, you know, like
Trident.
Aquaman or whatever.
Double
the fuck.
swords.
Yeah, trident. I want the double sword guy out there. I want somebody out there with nunchucks. Make it interesting. Keep me guessing. I don't know what's coming next week.
Here's
barbarian.
Back to the guy. Back to this case. 160 years, but he was a legit guy whose hobby was armed robbery for a while. They made a big deal out of the time in the article I read that he was a first-time defendant, but first-time defendant doesn't mean first-time offense. He's a first-time defendant with 40 offenses.
Thank you.